You cannot honestly be that naive. You think I'd marry that
non-subscriber?
Ha! You must be out of your freaking mind.
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. Discover the latest OP10 deck lists on gumgum.gg, updated daily. Be the first to see decks for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1,000 deck lists per set, gumgum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. So in my previous ranked data analysis videos, I did look a lot more at like the top 10 most played decks. So I thought it would be interesting to look at the top, well not top, like 11th to 20th place decks, which I want to consider this as off meta, right? If 1st to 10th is meta, then 11th to 20th off meta, and then what, 21st to 30th would be rogue. That makes sense, right? Grouping it that way, and then 31st and onward is just casual for fun decks, it looks like. And yeah, this is Kaido here. This blank one is the starter deck for Kaido. For some reason, TCG player has missing starter deck images somehow, all of a sudden. That's where all these images are pulling from. But yeah, I'm sorting it by play rate, not by the scaled win rate, by the way. Just because in the leaders tab, I have it matched according to play rate. But yeah, special shout out to TCG Matchmaking and OP Bounty for the ranked system and having this data available. You can get access to some free meta snapshots and stuff on their Discord, and then if you want a more detailed representation of this data, they have it available in their Patreon as well. And then yeah, if you want someone to analyze it and display it in a nice way, you wait for my videos, I guess. But yeah, in this video we'll be taking a look at Enel, Nami, Katakuri, Smoker, Zoro, Purple Yellow Robin, Purple Yellow Pudding, Reiju, Boa, and then Red Blue Marco. So let's just dive into it. And this will be for the date of January 2nd for the entirety of OP09 ranked data. I'm not going to filter it for like high ranking matches only or last week only, because the sample sizes for these leaders are a lot lower, right? If this was the top 10 with Shanks and Doflamingo and stuff, it would make more sense to just include high ranking matches. But yeah, we need all the data we can get for these leaders. So taking a look at the leader summary page for Nami, we see that she has a 45% win rate overall against the 11th to 20th most played decks. Strong into Enel, 83% win rate. Enel just doesn't have the aggression to defeat a Nami. That makes sense, because he's all about stalling, but so does Nami. Nami stalls and then has like an end game where she just wins if you take too long to beat her. Enel just kind of hopes to make your opponent run out of gas, but yeah, Nami's trying to run out of gas, so that makes sense. Looks like whether you're going first or second, it's a really heavy win rate here. Oh, one thing I want to point out is that the overall win rate has like a different match sample size from the going first versus going second statistics on the OP Bounty data. I'm not sure why that is, but that's just how the data was presented to me. So I'm just reporting what I see. So yeah, don't shoot the messenger. I don't really know why that is the way it is either. And I'm not like directly affiliated with TCG Matchmaking, so I don't have like the inside knowledge either. And yeah, also some weird things like this where like you see that the overall matches between Nami and Pudding, there's 90 matches for that, for a 45% win rate. But for their first and second metrics, they only have 9 games to pull from that. So it's kind of wonky where like from these 9 games, Nami won 60% of them going first, 100% of them going second, but they have an overall win rate of 45%. So it's kind of weird, right? They have a winning matchup, it looks like, whether they're going first or second, but the overall win rate is not. And yeah, again, if you take a look at OP Bounty in the sim itself, you see this exact same number here. So I don't know why that is. Again, I'm just the messenger here, so I guess you just have to ask them. I'm just reporting on what I see. But I do think for the numbers where the sample size is more significant, that's a lot more in line with what we expect. So I trust those at least, right? That's why all my analysis were on the top 10 most played decks, because those data points I feel like were a lot more reliable. But yeah, we'll just move on from here. So it looks like Nami loses to a lot of aggression, right? Whether it's Belobedi or Zoro or Reiju, they all have really good matchups into Nami, it looks like. And Boa too, for some reason. I guess Boa running the 7 Warlords package could be pretty quick. So Pudding's a losing matchup, even though Katakuri is a winning matchup. But they both depend on 10 cost Big Bomb. I guess that extra turn that Katakuri takes to play it makes all the difference. But again, yeah, sample size of 161 and 90 here, so it'd be just due to the low number of matches of this matchup being played. Okay, so moving on, we have Enel. Let's take a look at Enel. So Enel does amazingly well into Zoro, 77% win rate, 64 into Boa, good into Smoker too, good into Belobedi and Reiju. Yeah, just good into aggro in general, because he can stave off a lot of their advantages by by having super armor via our leader ability. Loses to Nami though, but we saw that from the Nami page. Loses to Robin. So yeah, Robin, this completely makes sense because Robin has Banish baked into her leader ability, right? The character itself, the leader itself has Banish whenever she attacks. A lot of Enel's value with this leader ability is that if you discard a card in your hand, that's the card that you just took from life and then you replace it, right? So you get potentially free trigger and you don't lose any cards. But with the Robin, if you do get hit by her leader, that card you take from life doesn't go to your hand and you still have to discard a card from your hand to heal. So you're actually losing cards that way. But that's why Robin is so good into Enel. And then loses to Pudding and Katakuri too, and this is because 10 cost Big Mom base decks have historically been good into Enel. Right, they're big bodies that just swing at you and it's really hard to counter against them the turns after, and then you really need like your Raiko. I believe it's called Raiko in Japanese, but Kingdom Come to actually deal with your opponent's big bodies. And when you only have 4 of them too. Let's take a look at Katakuri here. 52% win rate overall. I believe that's our first positive win rate against the 11th to 20th place stacks against the other off-meta leaders. So good into Boa and Bello Betty. I didn't expect Bello Betty to be a winning matchup because she does swarm pretty quick and easily, but I guess the amount of triggers, your Namis and Onamis that can kill a 5 cost character, that can stave off a lot of this aggression. Likewise, get into Reiju too, but those triggers don't help you against Ichiji, so I'm wondering why this is. Beats Pudding, even though Pudding can reach her late endgame quicker than you. Also, surprisingly, Robin, even though Robin can deny a lot of your triggers. Very interesting. But yeah, small sample sizes all around here. And then loses to Smoker. I guess Smoker and Tashigi plus Ice Age deals with a lot of Katakuri's bodies. Loses to Nami, that makes sense. Loses to Zoro. Zoro's just way too fast now, but that's kind of where his weak matchups end. So he has a pretty good matchup spread into the off-meta decks at least. Just real quick, I want to see what he does against the top 10. Oh, top 10, he's not too bad either. Good into Purple-Black Luffy, Bello Betty, Red-Purple Luffy, Shanks, and Bonnie, but weak to Black-Yellow Luffy, Teach, Doflamingo, Lucci, and good into Purple Luffy? And it's not an insignificant sample size. I guess, yeah, like your triggers are Killer Ender Sangoros and Zoros and Kid blockers, so yeah, Katakuri not too bad, eh? Okay, we'll move on to Nico Robin here. So Robin, of course, good into Enel, good into Nami. That makes sense too. You're denying a lot of her, like, Sanji's peel-off triggers. You're ripping 2-cost 4k counters out of her hand, right? Because they go to the trash if you make them take a life. And then they don't play characters that you would need to attack with your leader anyway. So all of your Robin's attacks are aimed at the Nami's face that they always have to have counter for. Good into Bello Betty just by virtue of denying her triggers, I guess. So she has to like hope she gets that 5-cost Ivankov. Insanely weak to Zoro because 4 life leader, aggro leader. That makes sense to me. And then we'll take a look at Zoro. So Zoro amazingly good into Nami, Robin, Pudding, Bello Betty, Katakuri. The 4 life leaders make sense. Weak to Reiju though, for some reason. 123 game sample size. I wonder why that is. I guess the Reiju can play that 4-cost Reiju that draws them a bunch of cards to refill their hand to counter with, but I would expect Zoro to have the advantage in this matchup. And then weak to Smoker. This makes sense. Smoker playing that Brook, and then the Shigis can just remove stuff on his board over and over again. And yeah, just weak into Enel just because Enel is hard to kill with a bunch of small bodies. 1, 2. We'll take a look at Pudding. Yeah, Pudding strong into Enel, strong into Robin, strong into Nami, weak to Zoro, weak to aggro in general. Yeah, these are all aggro decks down here and are weak against. So that's a big weakness for Pudding. For some reason, there's no Pudding mirrors in the first or second matchup data. Say it's weird. There's 382 matches to pull the overall win rate from, but 0 to pull the first and second win rates from. I'm guessing they don't record whether you're going first or second for every game in the OP bounty data. That's my only assumption that I can make here. Let's take a look at Smoker. Smoker good into Bello Betty because you can kill a lot of her bodies. Yeah, just good into the swarm decks like Boa with the 7 Warlords package, Zoro with the animal package, but not with Reiju, who can also swarm with the judge plays. And yeah, just has a hard time finishing Enel because there's only so much cost reduction you have to kill his late game. Let's take a look at Reiju real quick. So Reiju great into Nami, Pudding, Smoker, but dies to Bello Betty, Boa, Katakuri. I don't know, these off-meta matchups kind of swing in wild ways. But again, really small sample sizes. It only has been 3 weeks too, so I guess it just takes more time for more of these sample sizes to increase. Let's take a look at Reiju against the top 10. Okay, yeah, against the top 10 most played leaders, she really only has like a slightly winning matchup into Lucci, but loses everything else. Ugh. Okay, against Boa. Okay, so Boa Hancock, good matchup into Pudding, Reiju, Nami, but weak to Katakuri, Enel. And then lastly, we have Marco here. So Marco is incredibly weak against Zoro, being a 4 life leader, that makes sense. Has 0 wins against Zoro in the first and second sample size. How does he fare into the top 10 though? Okay, yeah, just about loses to everything. We'll just look at the rest of them real quick because I'm curious about that too. So Boa, does Boa have any strong matchups? Boa's good into Bonnie, good into Teach, loses to everything else. We saw Reiju. Let's take a look at Pudding. Pudding's amazingly good into Luffy. Black Yellow Luffy, good into the Purple Black Luffy, good into Red Purple Luffy. All the Luffys except for the purple one. The pure purple one is too aggressive. Smoker is good into Bonnie, good into Red Purple Luffy. Goes even with Newgate. Goes even with Teach because yeah, we have access to 9 cost Kaido. I think 9 cost Kaido is played more in Smoker, so that makes sense. Then Zoro's top 10 matchups. Yeah, amazingly good into Teach, good into Red Purple Luffy, Purple Black Luffy, good into Shanks and Bonnie as well. Then Nico Robin has a positive win rate against Black Yellow, but losing to everything else. Then for Katakuri, good into Purple Black Luffy, Red Purple Luffy, Shanks, Bonnie, and Purple Luffy as well. That's pretty good actually. How about Enel? So Enel great into aggro, then kind of poopy against everything else. Kind of goes even with a lot of the Luffys here. How about Nami? Nami beats Lucci for sure, Shanks for sure, Black Yellow for sure, Bonnie for sure, Red Purple Luffy for sure. Yeah, Nami has a lot of good matchups too against the top 10 most played actually. Right, if I have to like bisect the off meta tier, it would make a pretty clear distinction with Nami, Enel, and Katakuri being higher than the others. So yeah, that was my off meta analysis. Anything interesting here? Do you think we just need more sample sizes for this data? Because yeah, if you see like all the freaking Shanks mirrors, there's like what, 12,000 Shanks games to pull data from against himself, just himself. There's 50,000 matches in total that we can pull Shanks data from. I think like we just need Nami to match that. There's 6,000 Nami matches to pull from. That's why some of these matchups may be different from what we expect, right? They swing a lot more than maybe we're used to seeing. But I still think this gives us like a general like gist of the idea of how these off-meta decks play. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this kind of video. I was thinking maybe showing some off-meta data would be nice too, since my other two were really involved with the top 10 most played decks. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like and comment and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And again, thank you to TCG Matchmaking, OP Bounty for this ranked data. The fact that we have any data to analyze at all is amazing. So yeah, shout outs to them. Check out their Patreon if you want to support them and get access to these advanced stats for yourself. You won't have access to the charts that I made because these are custom made by me for my videos, but a lot of this data is based off of the numbers that they have available in their Patreon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Car D Kaizoku.